welcome everyone for the today. So I'll be taking this session. I am Ashwini Srinath. I am chartered accountant with around 13 plus years of experience into finance domain. So what today's session is all about? So today's session is more on discussing. We would have heard about there is a recent notification from ISACA that there is going to be a change in syllabus in 2024. So predominantly we will discuss on what to expect, how to go about with this change, and predominantly to answer most of the questions part. So nothing much is having clarity at this moment because we don't have the new manual, and it is going to be tested from August 2024 onwards. How to start with CISA preparation. What is the exam registration process? Predominantly, most of the students ask me on how should I go about on it. So we'll discuss fairly on that as well. Then how to maintain the CPE. So maintaining CPE is post the certification as a CISA, but I'll briefly cover on those as well. See, these are commonly asked questions from most of the people. So thought of answering and covering as part of this webinar. Yeah, we will discuss some of the mock question if time permits. Yeah, so more to related to speak on what is the old syllabus and what is the new syllabus. So last year in 2020-23, ISACA released that there is going to be a change in syllabus. When this change is going to be effective is from coming August, which is August 2024 onwards. Any examination which is conducted on or after 1st of August is going to be in the new syllabus, is what they have informed or they have notified. Now, what to expect from the change and why such changes are made? So the last change which CISA or ISACA made is in the year 2019 June. There was a change. So 5 years down the line, there is a change. Obviously, that is expected as well, considering a lot of changes in the expectation, a lot of changes in technology, and the importance of information systems auditor has widely changed now. So growing technology, growing demands, growing threats, and growing necessity for many of the IAS auditors. So things evolve. As such, we have to, we meaning as an information systems auditor, we should be equipped enough to contribute better to the community or the society. So this change is most warranted and most expected from ISACA as well. And what do we expect when you say that there is going to be a change in syllabus? Is it going to be a very drastic change that is completely change in the syllabus? No. ISACA never does, or ISACA or any other institute doesn't change for complete change over the syllabus. So what they change is on considering the current trends, what is in addition to the current manual or current syllabus we need to add on. So those topics are added on. For example, there are increased demands for AI. There is increased demand for privacy. There is increased demand for many of the new threats. So these things warrant a change in the syllabus because as we move to a technologically driven environment, more are going to be the advantages of it, and there are some disadvantage of it. So you have to be more equipped enough, more aware enough, because you as a person at the top, be a CISO or a CIO or an information systems auditor, should be in a stage to guide other people to as what to expect from such a new technology. Many advantages, but what are the disadvantages? What are the warnings related to? So in that case, obviously, when you say that you are an information systems auditor, this change is more expected from ISACA. So now, what is the change that they have declared? So based on the notification that is issued by ISACA, what is expected is that the examination which is tested on or after August is going to be in the new syllabus, and till that moment, the old syllabus will be effective. Are we having the revised study material at this moment? No, we don't have the study material. From May onwards, the new material will be available with ISACA. But what is that they have published now is on the change in the syllabus or change in the number of questions that is going to be asked in the examination. So as you see in the slide, so we totally have 5 domains at present that is going to remain the same. No change in the domain as such. We are going to be tested in the same 5 domains. Now, what is tested? So previously they were asking about 21% of questions in domain 1. That has gone for a little change now, which is going to be 18%. So instead of 31 questions, they are going to test you with 27 questions. Where they found higher importance on it, domain 4 and 2. Why? The recent past, we have felt the importance for BCP DRP backup. We had COVID last 3 years, which went on completely work from home setup, BCP DRP, all these were invoked, and what we saw in books, we really had it in a real life scenario, right? So in that case, it is more warranted that yes, we need more importance on BCP DRP backup strategy. So obviously this is expected. A lot of questions are asked from domain 4 now. What is on domain 2? Considering all the corporate scandals, all the governance part, which is more important for an information systems auditor. It is not always looking for the law or regulation. As an organization, as you grow, you become more mature, the importance as to how you govern the organization is more important. So they're more on internal controls perspective, more on related to the governance on IT or strategic goals. So that is more important. So that is as well more understandable that more of the questions are asked from domain 5. So previously we used to say that domain 5 is more important. Now domain 4 and 2 is also equally important. No change in domain 3 as well. So this is what is as such declared by ISACA, that the new material will be available by May and will be tested from August onwards. Okay, so as of now, what we have is only this is disclosed as part of ISACA. Ashwini, will I be able to check this as part of the examination? One is that you don't have the time to do, or it is not warranted to check on it, and as well, you cannot evaluate whether exactly ISACA has asked 27 questions as part of domain. This is what they declare. This is not the exact set of questions. It can be 25 or even 28. We cannot evaluate because a particular question you cannot evaluate whether it is from domain 1 or domain 4. Sometimes it is a mix of both. So this is what is declared. So what is in for an aspirant, as in for me, give equal importance to domain 3 and 4 as well. That is what we can, that is a final conclusion that we have from here. Whether I can still go ahead with the same material, yes, you can go ahead, but it is good to understand what are the changes that are expected. So when there is a change that is expected, when there is a small important or a small topic that is introduced by ISACA, obviously the number of questions in the new syllabus or the new topic is expected in the examination as to just correlate to the logic. So always look for what is the exact change that has been brought in from the old and new syllabus. So understand that. But nothing to fear. Is there any change in syllabus? I have already started preparing in old syllabus now that the syllabus is getting changed. So nothing to worry on it because there is not a complete change of the syllabus, but you should be more informed about the 10% part where there is a change. 90% is going to remain the same. So that is on the old and new syllabus. We will have more clarity by in May or in June, where we get the new material, and as well as more on comparing with the old and new, what are the new topics that are added in the new manual. Yeah. So that is on the old and new syllabus. I'll address your question separately. Now, as simple as that, I didn't put too much of pointers here on how to prepare for CISA preparation. You can find a lot of YouTube videos related to it, a lot of articles on how to prepare for CISA. I'm not going to discuss on it. There is a separate webinar that we conducted on what are the materials that you are supposed to refer for CISA. You can find in the same YouTube YouTube channel for InfosecTrain, where we have discussed if you are starting to prepare for CISA, what are the materials that you are supposed to refer to? You can refer to that. So here we are not discussing that in detail. How to prepare? As simple as that. You have two materials. One is on study text, which you call it as CRM, CISA Review Manual, which is published by ISACA. So that is your primary source of material. And you have two, which is on the mock questions. When you say mock questions, it is on practice questions, not the exact and exam questions that you have got. Exam questions is never disclosed. So what you get is on the mock questions. So these two are the primary source of material. So use that. More importantly, plan as to what you are going to do in the next 2 or 3 months. That is more important. Planning is just not enough. It is on executing the plan that you have planned for. Okay, so you cannot have a generalized plan for everyone. because your timings differ, way of approach differ. So as such, in a day, concentrate for 1 to 1.5 hours. That is a maximum time. More than that, if a person is saying they are concentrating, probably not truly, but for the sake of studying, they are. More than 40 minutes of a time, you cannot concentrate. So ensure that you cover in two parts, 40 minutes, 1.5 hours you cover in a day. That is more than enough to cover for the day. More is on grasping the concept. Here you are not tested on your memory. Here you are tested on how good are you are in the concepts, how well you are able to take a decision as an information systems auditor. That is more important. That is why this is a professional certification, not other certifications where you're just preparing and writing as to what you are being aware of. This is more of a objective based question, and you are supposed to take a decision in each of a question. So that is on have a plan per se. So have your materials ready, have a proper plan in place. More importantly, work out the plan that you have done. And if it is not working out per day, sometimes there is a mess, try to cover up within that week or so. Yeah, every day cannot go as planned. There can be some slipovers, there can be some points which you couldn't cover. So make up during the week. So that adjustment can be done, but more importantly, more of a discipline to plan or discipline to stick on to the plan is more important. So as I told, start with the manual and start more questions. Learn from your mistakes. This is more important for a professional certification. Don't keep on reading the manual, don't keep on attempting the question. Pause for a minute. If you're going wrong, when you're conceptually right, why you are going wrong. This is something that needs to be customized for everyone. Not necessarily, some people will do mistakes in reading the question, some people will do mistakes in identifying the keyword, some people will misread the option. So in that case, you should be more concentrating as to why you are going wrong. This is something which I cannot tell to individual people. You have to self learn yourself. You have to make your mind more mature enough to handle an examination. Yeah, at a moment you will not get a confidence to sit in the examination and get it. This is something that you have to build in yourself while your preparation. So that is more important for people who have already written CISA, taken attempts for it. When you re-attempt it, it is more even difficult compared to your first attempt, because there is an additional step where you have to see where you have gone wrong. People who have written it in the first attempt, cleared it, will not feel that pinch. But for people who have already taken a lot of attempts, they know the pinch as to identifying where you are going wrong. So that is more important. Be more mature enough in handling why you have gone wrong. Don't do the mistake again and again. Do some new mistakes, but don't commit the same mistake. So that is more important. The only mantra that you have to focus on this certification. People ask me whether, Ashmi, this certification is difficult or this is easy. This is neither ways. This is neither an easy examination nor a difficult examination. This is not an easy examination in the sense you just read the manual, go and write, it will not work out. You have to apply that concept. If just by reading the manual and you can attempt the examination, anyone can pass through by reading this manual. But it is more of an application. You have learned a concept, you need to apply that in the examination. So imagine that after you qualify CISA, what you are going to be? You are going to audit an information system and you are going to publish an audit report saying how the information system is doing well. So that's the level of clarity that you should have. That's the responsibility that you hold in the society. It is going to be more valuable. So when you are given more such of a responsibility, imagine the expectation from a CISA aspirant. You are not a student. From a student, you are becoming an auditor. So when you are given such a huge responsibility, expectation also is going to be high from ISACA. So it is not an easy examination. Is it a difficult one? No, it is not a difficult one, but it needs some kind of a consistency in you. It will not turn back in a day. You cannot complete CISA in 10 days. You cannot complete in 15 days. It is a journey that you have to go through for a long time. That's the reason people give up during the preparation stage. They are good at concept, they are good at how to attempt the question, but they have to consistently prepare and focus on where they are going wrong, what they need to correct, and the confidence level. How this confidence you will get? By the consistency and focus that you have. You cannot be overconfident as well, saying yes, you will clear. You have to be mature enough to handle that. By way of consistently preparing on a plan and a focus, you will never fail. Yeah, probably it can be a stepping stone if you have taken an attempt or so, but the knowledge that you have gained, you're not going to start from zero for your second attempt. Yeah. So remember that. So here I have not discussed on anything that you are unaware of it, just reminding on things that you're already aware of. Yeah. So that is on the preparation part. On the materials, we have made a separate webinar on it. You can refer to that. Same, I guess last month we did a webinar on what are the materials that we have to discuss. Yeah. So that is on how to prepare for CISA. Now, how to register for the examination? This is an administrative work that you have to do. You can create your own ISACA login. So I have just given the URL as well. You can Google it. So this is the official account for ISACA. You have to create it. Once you sign in, it is a self-service portal. It will guide you automatically. You have to click in as to which certification that you are planning to do. There is no pre-registration for this examination like an application or anything, application fee or anything. Directly you can register for the examination. Select the certification you wish to pursue. Select which certification you wish to take, like CISA, CRISC, whichever you are planning to take. Then you register for the examination. You can register even now to take the examination 6 months later. I guess last 1 week before as well you can register. So depends on your mindset. Some people will have mindset 6 months from now on I'll register only then I'll get the seriousness to prepare. Go ahead with it. But your funds are locked for 6 months. If you don't bother about it, please go ahead. But for some people, I don't know how my journey will be. So at this moment, I'll not register, but I'll plan it somewhere 6 months later. But how later I can do? Probably 10 days before the examination. Once you feel you are ready, you can register as well. So left to your choice. Second thing is two things. Either you can take it in your own home in your laptop. That is one of the manner. Second thing is taking the test in the test center. You can take both. If you are taking it from home, you should be in a closed environment. There will be a proctor who will be watching you while you take the examination. In the test center, it is a regular exam environment where you'll be given a system and you're supposed to take the examination. I leave it to your choice, but in general I would suggest students to take it from the test center, because on considering the power issues or considering the configuration issues in the laptop, let's avoid all those things. So if you have a test center nearer to you, better to take it. And predominantly in most of the cities there are test centers nearby, so it is better to take from the test center. You get the exam feel as well, and it is more advantageous to take from the exam center, because of considering all the proctors there. You don't have a person always watching, you can get breaks. So it has its own advantages as well. So better to take it, but predominantly it is the same environment. There is no same set of questions as the system throws. So it is a 4 hour examination. So as such, to consider all the administrative advantages, you can take it from the test center as well. So you can register it. Then you can. It is simple. Like you add to the cart, then you can pay. Exam fee is going to be $760 for a non-member, and for a member it is $575. So to get a membership in ISACA, it is $150. So if you are planning to take only one certification in a year with ISACA, then it will not be value add, unless otherwise you get some extra materials and all. But otherwise, if you're planning to take only one certification in a year, this will not be beneficial. If you're taking second certification like CISA and CRISC within the same year, for the second certification, you will get the discount rate. So probably it will be more advantageous to you. So that is on the exam registration process. It is very simple. It is self service portal. You can look for, create a login with ISACA, then you can register for the examination. So that is on the exam registration process. More on maintaining the CP. So I'll just fairly cover on it because there are a lot of questions around it. But for CISA aspirants, as such, will not value add till they clear the examination. After you clear the examination, it is not an automatic process of membership. You should have a work experience per se. So this work experience, you will get 2 years of an exemption for the degree that you hold. But 3 years of an experience is required as a proper work experience, so which has to be attested in the exam, in the membership application. Then you have to submit it online with ISACA, then you get your membership. So this process will take around 1 month of time. Generally, your 3 years of cycle. So generally, the CP is for 3 years of a cycle. If I'm qualifying in 2024, my 3 year cycle will start from 2025 onwards. So 25, 26, 26, 27, 28, 27, 28 will be the 3 year cycle. So within the 3 years, I need to acquire 120 hours of CPE. What is CPE? Continuous professional education. Imagine that a person who is qualified 20 years back as a CISA, now he is an auditor. So we cannot ask him to retake the examination because everything has got into change. So what is expected is that they equip themselves for the current trend, current technologies, current level of aspects that we have. So what we ask the members to do, or what we ask the CISA to do, you equip yourself by attending webinars, by looking for ISACA seminars, look for it, engage with other ISACA members. So you are equipping yourself, updating you for the current trends. So that is the expectation for CP. So minimum of 120 hours is required for a 3 year period. Within a year, you should have done at least 20 hours of CP. But to cover the 120 hours, it is better to plan for 40, 40, 40 in every year, so that by 3 years you will get 120. Fairly, what is covered as part of CPE is that there are certain things they have segregated into Group A and Group B. Group A will not have any limit. So these are, I have broadly listed down on that. You can find that in ISACA website as well. So if you do any professional activities or professional meetings in ISACA, then you can claim this as hours related to any kind of non-professional educational activities if you are involving. All this will require a CPE certificate, which and all is qualifying for the CP. Any self-study courses that you do, any marketing presentation, again limited to 10 hours, or you can do any kind of teaching or lecturing. All these needs to be proved by having a CPE certificate. Publish any articles related to, or any books that you publish, any exam development. Some of people will be part of the exam question generation committee. There, how many number of hours that you spend here can be claimed as a CPE. So anything related to the certification where you are adding value either to the institute or you are adding value as for the qualification that you hold, then you can qualify for it. Any kind of a contribution to IS audit or control profession, then that can as well, maximum of 20 hours you can do. Even mentoring is covered or having a limitation for 10 hours. So these fairly are covered as part of the CPE per se. There are a lot of others as well. If you just explore on the website for ISACA, you can understand as to how to maintain the CPE, as well as you have to pay the yearly maintenance fee with ISACA. So you have to maintain all these things. But when this will start? After qualifying as a CISA, after getting your membership from ISACA that you are a qualified person. So after you obtain the certificate, from the next year onwards, the 1 year cycle will fall from Jan to December. So that is on maintaining the CPA. Okay, fine. So now we will discuss fairly on two or three more questions, just to give you a flavor as to how the questions will be, how the questions will be asked, and what is expected. At this moment, you may not have the conceptual understanding. For people who have already read through the manual and they are better with the clarity on the concept, probably they will be able to attempt. But don't worry, even if you are not able to attempt the question, because you're not aware of the concept, then how you will attempt the examination, how you will attempt the question. So fairly, just to give a flavor as to how the questions will be in the examination, how you have to attempt. So this is more on understanding the mock questions, what is expected from a mock question. When you read a question, how you have to read a question. So have a plain reading of the question. Why it is more important? Your anxiety level sometimes might be little more, even though it is in the same in your national language, still you may not feel comfortable in reading a question because at that moment you are not comfortable with. So in that question, just be calm and read the question. Just a plain reading of English is required to get a flavor as to which domain the question is from. So find the domain from which the question is asked. Get a grip over the question. Okay, this question is from domain 4. So now I'll restrict my knowledge only to domain 4. Now, better clarity. Identify the keyword and stage of the question. This is more important because your answers will differ based on the keyword and the stage. What is the auditor will do next? What the auditor will do at the final stage? How the auditor has to report? What is the best option? What is the first option? What is the preliminary step? All these are keywords and stage of the question. So you have to concentrate more on what is the scenario and what is expected from a auditor at that point, either immediately or at the time of reporting or at the time of planning, at the time of execution, at the time of discussion with audit committee. So understand that. That is more important. Now read the question again with the options. Now you have better clarity. After doing step 1, 2, 3, you have more clarity. I have read the understood question properly, understood which domain it's from, and what is expected out of me immediately or at a later part, and what is the best choice. That is understood. Now, out of the four options, keep eliminating. This is what I told during the set of preparation. It is more important to understand from your mistakes where you have gone wrong. So, if you see the ISACA question, so normally it will be in the practice mock questions. So, there will be one question with four options. Then they would have given the right answer at the bottom. That is more important on the justification part, which will define one right answer will be. For example, C is the right answer. They will explain as to why A is wrong, why B is wrong, why D is wrong, and why C is right. So understanding this is more important. So why you are saying option A is wrong? So you need to understand, because in some cases you would have answered it right, but your understanding might be wrong. Maybe out of luck you have answered C right, but your understanding on why C is right may not be right. So in that case, you need to understand as to why you've gone wrong. That's why go for elimination method. Why you are eliminating a specific option. So based on the four options, keep eliminating, and at the end of the day, you have to finalize on two options. Then based your understanding, look for one right answer. So do all these steps diligently for each question, and you will have time for it. You have 4 hours time for 150 questions. So have a clarity of it. I've fairly covered around 3 or 4 questions for you to understand on it. Question. So which of the following group is most likely? Most likely meaning based on the options that is given, based on the answers that is given, what is most likely the responsibility of whom? Yeah, when you say responsible, they are the owner for it. They are the person who are going to implement it for implementation of IT projects. So this question is from domain 2 on governance and management of IT. So under this domain, we have various responsibilities, various committees there are involved. So you have a governing committee. Under governing committee, you have two committees, which is strategy committee and a steering committee. Under strategy committee, it is more on setting the expectation, guiding the board of directors as to what are the steps they have to take it to govern the organization. So that is the role of a strategy committee, setting the voice right, setting on what is the expectation, what are the goals that can be set for the organization. That is the role for a strategy committee. Based on these inputs, the board of directors will delegate the responsibility for implementation to the steering committee. Steering committee are the people who are going to implement what is being directed by the board of directors. So in this question, steering committee is the right answer, which is A. So this is the level of understanding that is expected from. So there is a concept behind each question which you are supposed to understand. So A is the right answer for this question. So you have to read the question, understand the question, then on which domain, which topic is tested, then what is expected for this topic. They are asking for the responsibility for it. They are not oversight responsibility. They are the people who are implementing. Then you look for the options, keep eliminating until you find the right answer. So this is how you are supposed to find or answer a question. Just another question. Digital signature require the signature to have a public key and the receiver to have private key. Signer to have a private a key and receiver to have a public key. Signer and receiver have a public key. Signer and receiver have a private key. Yeah. Under digital signature, more important concept is relating to authenticity and the integrity of the sender. So you are evaluating when you say that this document is digitally signed, it means it is from the right person. You are authenticating the person, you are authenticating the person who is sending the message. So in that case, what needs to be done? It has to be signed by the sender's private key. So signer to have a private key and the receiver to have the public key of the sender. So always key works in a pair mechanism. Private key of one person can be used only with the public key of the same person. So in that case, you cannot do anything by having two public keys. You cannot do anything by having two private keys. So you can easily eliminate C and D, out of which the confusion is now between A and B. What is to be used for what? Here, the difference between an encryption decryption is what comes into place. In a digital signature, you use the sender's private key to sign the message, and you use to encrypt the message, and you use the in the digital signature the sender's public key to decrypt the message. So if the question the answer for this is B. In encryption decryption, it is going to be the reverse. You are going to use the receiver's public key to encrypt and receiver's private key to decrypt. So the concept here is revolving around domain 5, and we are discussing about encryption decryption and digital signature topic. So one, you should be having clarity as to what a digital signature is. Second is what is different from what. Whether encryption decryption is the same as digital signature, what is expected out of a digital signature. So more of a clarity now, whether it is difficult or an easy question. For people who are aware of the concept, it is an easy question. But if you are not clear with the concept, probably you will not be able to attempt the question. So here the right answer is B. Signer to have private key and receiver to have public key. So here the answer is going to be B. So each question like this will be revolving around a concept. To ensure that audit resources deliver the best value to the organization, the first step would be schedule the audit and monitor the time spent on each audit, train the IS audit staff on current technology used in the company, develop the audit plan on the basis of detailed risk assessment, monitor the progress of audit, and initiate a cost control measure. So audit that you conduct as part of IS is always called as a risk-based auditing. So based on where the area of risk is, you concentrate more on that area, considering the constraint for time and constraint for resources. So whenever you want to add value to the organization, by conducting an audit with the limited resources, concentrate on the areas of high risk. So develop an audit plan on the basis of detailed risk assessment is the right answer. So this topic is covered as part of domain 1, and where we cover it as part of the audit planning or the risk assessment part. So the answer to this question is going to be C. Develop the audit plan based on the detailed risk assessment part. Question number 4, the last question. So, in the course of performing a risk analysis, an IS auditor has identified threats and potential impacts. Next, the auditor should identify and assess the risk assessment process used by the management, identify information assets and underlying systems, disclose the threats and impact to management, identify and evaluate existing controls. This question is more related to the risk management process. So, after you identify the potential impacts and potential threat and the impact, as an auditor, the next step is on identifying, evaluating the existing control part. So, there are various steps that are involved in risk management process. They are asking about what is the next step. If you see in the question, you have the next step the auditor should do. So, here they are asking about the immediate step after this scenario. In that case, the next step is identifying and evaluating the existing control. So, generating or gaining the knowledge is one part. Second is on how you are able to apply that knowledge in the question. So, that is more important. So, this is how fairly the question will be. Each of the question will be revolving around a topic or revolving around a concept, and it is not directly tested. They will not ask you what is the next step after identifying the threats and impact. So, they will give you a scenario based on which, as an auditor, you have to take a decision related to it. So this is on the mock questions as well.